Okay, just turn the thing on.
It's on. Here we are again with the Stihl Whipper Snipper, the newer version, right? What is this thing?
Well,
tell us about the fiasco.
This is a weed whipper snipper trimmer or whatever you want, a weed whacker, call it whatever you want. And it's the Stihl company, Stihl,
yeah,
registered trademark. And I bought this at a local store, and it was it's the FS38 version, because you can buy them, you know, years gone by that look kind of like this, but they're not quite this version.
Yeah.
They upgrade every year to something new, probably. I'm not sure.
And we have that version in the garage.
Yeah, and this takes, yeah, we have the old version in the garage. Anyway, we needed two, so we bought two because there's two of us. Anyway, so then the first thing you want to do is you want to put the right kind of gas oil mixture in it. It's a 50-to-1, 50 gas, 1 oil mixture. And you can try to measure all that out, buy the high test gas and some really good oil, and try to mix it. That's too complicated for me and probably for most of you. So what I did was, at the hardware store, I went and bought the mixture already mixed. So this is a 50-to-1 high performance 2-cycle, that's a 2-cycle engine there, fuel.
Yeah.
And it happens to be the Stihl company that puts this out. It's exactly the same as this. The Harvest King company put this one out. It's 50-to-1, 2-cycle, same thing. Except I thought, you know, they're both the same price too. I thought I'll go with the Stihl because that's the Stihl.
Yeah.
But I don't think you need to go with the Stihl version of the gas mixture with the oil. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to put this into the tank. So of course we've got a little gas oil tank here. We unscrew it, we dump it in. It puts some in. Okay, that's the first thing we do. The second thing we do is we look at this thing and we go, okay, well, there's a button on there with some gas in it that I probably, if it's a cold machine, you haven't used it in a season, or it hasn't been used in a week or so, you probably want to put some fuel with this choke into the carburetor here. So you push it down approximately 5 times, and when you push it hard with your fingertip, and then you watch the gas come back up to the top of the bubble, and then you push it again. Don't go push, 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 push. About 5 times. If it doesn't work the way it should work after 5 times and then pull the cord, then maybe next time try it 7 times, 10 at the most, 3 maybe. But we found that if we push it 5 times, it works. So that's the first thing. Make sure that it's choked. Oh, should we turn it on first? Well, there's a little button here. It's got a circle. It's red. It's got a circle and a line. So when the circle is down, that means off. When the line is down, that means on. Okay, we turn it on. We've got gas in it. We choke it. Oh, there's another little orange button here. If we put it in that position, the choke's not on. You shouldn't have to have the choke on once the thing's hot, right? But to get the damn thing going, you better put the choke down for on. So this is down. You've pumped it. You've got the gas in it. You got the darn thing on, and then you got the gas and the gas handle, you know, and then let go and it stops.
Yeah.
This thing's spinning really, 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 and it might shoot some rocks up at you. Anyway, so to get it to go, before I pull the cord, where's the cord? There's the cord. I'm going to put this, I'm going to push this button and squeeze this one and put that little orange notch in there. There, it's secure now. I don't have to worry about that.
See, this is where I don't agree that you do that, but okay.
Oh yeah, whatever. I'll let you demonstrate your way of doing it, Dave, in a minute. Anyway, so I've got the thing on. I've got the secure handle in place, so I don't have to touch it there.
Yeah.
I've got some cord in the machine. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then got the choke. I've pushed it. Got the gas in it. Let's just give it a pull with this. Not going, so I'm going to try this. Are you filming this part?
I'm watching it.
I'm going to change the orange cord into the up position. See if that makes a difference. Ah, so that's where it should be. But it stopped, so I'm going to give it a choke again. The carburetor.
Inject some more gas.
Yeah, more gas into the carburetor. Now it should really, really go. No, let's push it down. I think it has to be in the down position, so push, push, push. It's going. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
Notice I told it to be quiet.
Yeah.
So the orange button has to be in the down position after the smoke. Now I'm ready. Shut it off. Okay. Review. Is this frustrating? Not only is it frustrating, but it's dangerous. Because when you get this thing going, this starts to spin 100 million miles an hour.
Yeah, which is
With this cord going around.
why I don't think that thing should be like on clamped in there, because if that thing's up, then it goes full blast.
Well, whatever. And I'm just going to talk about this for a minute.
Okay.
So once it's spinning, you should wear safety glasses.
Yeah.
And does it come with safety glasses? Yes. So you're wearing safety glasses the whole time. It's going to be shooting rocks at the neighbors and the cars.
Yeah, just
so
shot
you gotta
rocks.
watch what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to be sued by somebody.
Yeah, we were hitting our house from
Right.
25 feet away.
All right. And so you're wearing safety glasses. You got the right 50-to-1 gas in the thing. You got to figure out how to start it. But you got to get this green cord in here.
Yeah, this is the crazy
And
part.
in the manual that comes with this, it'll tell you the thickness of the cord, the diameter of the cord.
Yeah.
And this is a regular standard 2.0 cord, right? So you can get thinner stuff. Thicker stuff wouldn't work, but you can get thinner stuff depending on what you're whipper snipping. You also need to buy the proper still for the still machine, the proper still cord, because if you get the stuff that isn't made by Stihl, the Stihl people will tell you that maybe it's made in China, because theirs isn't made in China, and maybe the quality of this stinks.
Right.
So maybe it won't work as well. So
Yeah.
I thought, okay, Stihl fuel, Stihl cord,
Can't go
Stihl
wrong.
machine, I should be all set.
Yeah.
And then, this is where it was really complicated, but to get this cord in there, you've got to take this off. So the black thing is screwing this white thing on, and the white thing is the winder upper, and there are, you only go counterclockwise, but there's arrows on the white thing that tell you which way to twist it. So when you run out of this and you think, hey, I got no more, I got to put new stuff in, get some cord,
Cord everywhere.
pull it out so that it's 2 arm lengths, cut it off, ready to go in. You got the, say this is the cord and it's long enough. Okay. You're gonna unscrew this whole thing until it comes off. You're gonna make sure there's none of this green stuff stuck inside.
Including this.
Yeah, and everything's
Even
coming off.
though, what did we just debate for like 10 minutes?
No, that's how you're gonna do it.
Okay.
And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the hole, and there's a hole here and
Yeah.
a hole there, and you're gonna shove the cord through.
Yeah.
And it's gonna go right through and come out the other side, and you're gonna make sure it's the same length.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna crank it until it goes so that it's as long as the blade cutter, which is right there. And
Yeah.
you're gonna cut it off, you're ready to go. So you're out cutting things with this green cord, and you hit a lot of rocks and stuff, and it keeps taking this cord.
Yeah, I can chewing it up.
breaking. And then, so what you're doing is, well, I need it to, spit more out.
Right.
So when you tap this on the ground,
When it's going. Yeah, yeah.
it'll eject some more of this cord.
Like, hopefully, supposedly.
Until you run out, and then you gotta put
Ideally.
shut it off, put new cord in.
Yeah.
Right. So the trick is to get this thing off and put new ones in. And you'll see, I don't know if you can see in your video there, but this black part
Yeah.
has an arrow there and an arrow here. It's right there.
Yeah.
Arrow, arrow. There's no other arrows on the black thing.
Yeah.
And then the white part has an arrow here and an arrow here. So if you, and there's an arrow in there saying counterclockwise. If you turn this stuff so that the arrows line up right there. Now the arrows are on there. If it doesn't line up, you can keep going.
And now you're pulling it in, right?
Yeah. And
You're winding it in.
I'm going to wind it right in if I have to. I don't care. I'm going to get my arrows in place. Maybe I'll wind it all the way in because there's not much left anyway. There. Now my arrows are lined up. It's ready to shove the new stuff through, but I've got some little pieces of green in there, so I got to take this off. And Dave's going to show you how to take it off.
Well, this is how I did it. I basically...
You're turning it
Turning-
counterclockwise.
This thing has to loosen.
Yes, but
And then this thing has to
you're
loosen.
turning the white thing with your fingers.
Because there's stuff in there.
Yeah.
This thing has to be like...
Oh, it's starting to turn.
Well, this thing has to be loosened up so that this thing can come off.
Yes.
And then
how do you get the black thing loose?
you have to like use your strength to like pry it
Oh, it
off.
looks like you need muscles to do this. Here it comes.
Something.
It's coming. I can see it coming off.
It's coming.
Keep going.
It's all tangled up.
Counterclockwise.
Well, now it's like kind of tangled up in there. It's like you can't
You have
press
to
it.
have
Hold
patience
on.
too. It looks
Patience
like.
and all sorts of...
Dave and I have lots of patience.
Yeah, we have lots of patience. We never argue about this ever. In fact, we weren't arguing about it before we filmed about this. Like,
If people watch us do this, you know what, Dave? I don't think they'll ever buy a Stihl weed eater as long as they live.
or they'll tell us that we're doing it wrong.
No, what if they don't know how to do it?
Well, this isn't... I'm not claiming this is a tutorial on how to do it.
Oh,
I never did. You
is
started
a-
filming in
this-
that context, and I
this is a
didn't.
tutorial on what?
On like how this thing works or doesn't work.
Okay.
Because now this thing is sort
Would
of
you
like...
how would you rate it out of 10?
There, it's off.
How would you rate it?
Well, this process I'd give a 0
Yes.
because it's like infuriating, and we
Yes.
just argued about it and had like our
Yes.
like business almost went under because we couldn't actually agree on how.
So
I
what
want
do
to
you
take,
recommend the people that are watching this now do?
Well, I'm going to take over this video in a second, and I'll tell them my side of the story
Okay.
because I have something to say about this thing. I'm going to put it right down here.
All right, good.
My turn to talk about this thing because this thing.
Start at the beginning.
No, I'm not starting at the beginning. This is like continuation, extra commentary on this specific device. Because last year, when we first started using this thing, we used to take this stuff off and then we used to like wind the cord around, I think this part, or we'd put it inside the machine and then try to put this thing on top of it and then wind it. We didn't understand what these sort of triangles meant or anything like that. And we were trying to like get it to like pop out the hole, and we couldn't get it to pop out the hole. And then I think we went over to the store where the people are sometimes nice, sometimes they don't want to talk to you. But one of the times we were over there, they're like, they explained that we have to take off this contraption, and then it's easy because once you have the thing like lined up and popping through the holes, you have to line up the triangles, pop it through the holes, and then wind it, and it should be very easy. And it involved taking this off. And then this year, now that the season started again, we just debated that this thing shouldn't come off. And I'm like, no, I did this like 100 times last year. I took it off every single time.
Why did I say that it shouldn't come off?
Because they told you.
Yes, people at the store.
At the
told
store.
me.
They changed their story again.
I went to the store because I was frustrated.
I know.
And
They
they
told-
me don't take that off.
Yeah, but they told us last year to take it off.
Yeah, so there
So
you go.
the
It's
problem-
store people don't know what they're talking about.
Well, there's like different employees at the store that think different things, and I guess they're not like the most expert people at this specific tool, because
Well, then they shouldn't be selling it.
the only time this worked is when this thing came off, and this thing's actually hard to take off. And so
So again, how do you get it off?
you have to like push down on it and like
On which part, the black or the
the
white?
black part, you have to like if you put this on too tightly, it's almost impossible to get off because there's dirt in there. The thread is covered in dirt, and it's like fused to the frickin' like shaft in there.
Yeah.
And so when you try to push it off using like just like your fingernails, which are breaking as you're trying to turn it, then it like eventually, if you use like, depending on what's happening, you can use all your strength, and finally it loosens and it comes off, and then you can turn this part and the whole thing will
Okay,
pop
but
off.
it's running by me again. If I'm trying to get it off, I'm turning it counterclockwise.
You have to turn this
I'm
enough
turning the
to,
white and the black at the same time.
first this thing has to be loose enough to turn.
So I just turn the black thing.
To get it loose enough to turn, then you can kind of wrangle both of them
okay.
off. But if you don't do that, then this thing doesn't move,
All right.
and this thing
So
does
as long
nothing.
as the black thing will turn,
Yeah.
There, the black thing turns. If I just keep turning it, it'll come off. It's just.
I don't even know if
straight
it'll
on,
come off because it's
It'll
like
get loose enough for the white thing to come
right.
off.
That's the thing. It can't come off without the white thing
Okay,
coming off.
now it seems to be just going around and
Right,
nothing's
it's loose.
happening.
It's loose.
Let's see if it'll pop off. No, let's try the whole thing. The white thing. I'm going to push it in
And
turn,
counterclockwise.
and it pops off.
Yeah, but it was ready to pop off. It was like kind of, but sometimes you have to turn it like a bunch of
What
times.
you've just suggested that I think is a great idea?
What's that?
Keep the dirt out of here.
Yeah, that's
Out
right.
of there and out of there. Maybe spray a little, lubricant on there so that it works properly. Clean it would be a good idea, Robert.
Yeah.
Right, so I think what I'll do is I'll clean it. But then once I've cleaned it, I put it back on and do I have to turn it the same way to get it tight?
You have
Put
to-
it down and
You have to push it down,
Yeah.
push it down, and then
go backwards?
While holding this, you have to get that tight on the thread
Oh, I see. You hold it down and then turn the black thing
to get it on the
like
thread
that.
until that thing's tight.
Okay.
And it has to be tight enough to be. It's not
Okay.
tight enough.
Okay.
So it's quite the adventure, and I guess having done this 100 times last year, I've got the hang of it after completely doing it wrong for like 2 months after they told me.
Clean and you know what another good idea would be is
Yeah.
I should write this down so that my brain understands what we just did.
Yeah.
Not look at the manual and go, oh, the manual will help me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to write down all that, and I think if I keep it clean, it all should work.
Yeah, if you know exactly the steps to do it. Like, I'm still a little unclear on this thing, and the other.
Stay away from the Stihl store in our town.
No, I mean, like, I'm not saying this is actually like a quality thing, but the thing is just the instructions and all that stuff of like how to use it, like getting different answers, people saying different things. That's why this can't be a tutorial, because people will be like, you guys don't know what you're doing. It's like, well, we've been using this for years now, and every year we kind of forget how to use it, and then they tell us a different way of how to use it, and then don't use it this way, don't use it that way, use it this way. And I'm like, well, that's why people opt for the battery one where it's like easier.
Okay, that's enough. So let's just recap and then we're done.
Yeah.
So if you buy a Stihl weed eater,
Yeah.
buy some Stihl cord.
I guess, yeah, you have to.
And it'll tell you in the manual the thickness of the cord, and it's probably a 2.0, but just look in the manual.
Because if you see this, how this is like kind of
yeah,
not
I would
straight.
cut the end off and make sure everything's straight.
Yeah.
But anyway, buy the right cord to go with the machine. And then the other thing is, you need a 50-to-1 gas oil mixture. Buy the Stihl 50-to-1 high performance 2-cylinder oil gas mixture for that.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it, I'm sure if you have patience, which it doesn't appear like I do, if you have patience, you should be able to figure it out.
Well, that's that.
Oh, and wear the safety glasses.
Yeah, because I was just using this.
Oh, and clean it.
I was just using this thing for like half an hour, and it hit me with rocks in the eye like about 10 times, and it cut my leg with rocks, and it hit the house with rocks, and rocks were flying everywhere. And like, so I'm gonna take you now, because I'm very patient. I'm gonna show you the rest of the video, which is what I did with this thing, just so you can see what I did with this thing.
You can shut it off. You don't need to show them the whole walk.
I'm gonna show them the whole walk. It's my video. So going over here, because yeah, we kind of argue about how to use these devices, and it doesn't help that they're like set up like some kind of ancient Egyptian, like or Lord of the Rings, like open the wall with the loose rock in the temple and all this frickin' bullcrap, where it's just like you'd never know. Like, I mean, some people are gonna say, well, you guys are just not very good at using this device, but I'm like, come on, that's things like a Byzantine like contraption, like designed by the Aztecs. But anyway, this is where I was whipper snipping, and the problem, I guess, was that there's all sorts of rocks and stuff back here, because what we're doing is we're making a pathway with these other rocks. Like, we have to lift these rocks out, and then we're gonna like redesign a pathway that's gonna come down here and go over here, and then I guess go this way. But over here I would just happen to be like whipper snipping some gout weed, and the gout weed is embedded in like a kind of a rocky, muddy garden. And so when this thing is on full blast, this the Stihl whipper snipper, it's hitting all the rocks. Like, there's like little rocks everywhere, and the rocks are just hitting like the they're basically flying up and hitting me in the leg and stuff, which is, I guess, no big deal. I shouldn't be wearing shorts though, because it's where the rocks gash my legs, if you can sort of see like gashes, but like, I mean, not really a big deal. I kind of do this stuff all the time, and I could wear, you know, more protective clothing, but once this, I guess the good thing about the Stihl is it's like a powerhouse kind of weed whacker. So like once you put it on full blast and you're kind of whipping through dirt and rock and stuff and branches, it's like it will like just annihilate everything in its path, but it also kicks up quite a cloud of dust and like basically starts shooting things everywhere. So you could argue you have to like finesse the thing so you're not like, you know, putting it on full blast the whole time, but you know, you figure if you have it on full blast, it'll get the job done faster, whatnot. So yeah, once the thing's actually running and like it's like unstoppable, right? But also when it's hitting rocks, it's chewing up that kind of you know, pricey Stihl the cord, and like within like minutes or like within like a minute, your cord is all chewed down, because if you don't angle it the right way, you're gonna be like just gnawing through your cord, and like your cord will be gone in no time. So you have to be like, even though this whole process is very like sensitive, it's like you have to be very patient, even though your patience is completely drained from arguing about how to even turn the thing on. And at some point I would have grabbed the battery one, which is sort of a little bit more relaxed. It's not gonna like, that thing's not gonna hurt you too much. But the industrial one is good because it just like gets things done super fast. But you have to be, it's like using a samurai sword. You're like gonna hurt yourself if you don't use it properly. So, I mean, setup of the thing and just like kind of like customer service, whatever. I don't know how much I would rate that. Probably like, you know, a 2. But once the thing's up and running and actually like you're using it for its like designated task, I'd give it like an 8, because it just like, it gets the job done. So that concludes the video. He wanted to make it into a tutorial. I knew that we couldn't possibly make it a tutorial because that thing's just too crazy to try to describe exactly how to use it. I want someone in the comments to like say, you know, what their experience is with the thing, because I think that it's like, you know, I want to hear about other people's experiences with that thing. So signing off, Foxy Gardens, April 2024.